Ethiopia embarked on a significant economic shift by floating its currency, the Birr, on July 29th. This decision marked a departure from the country's long-standing fixed exchange rate system. The move came as Ethiopia faced mounting economic challenges, including a severe foreign currency shortage. The government's goal was to stabilize the economy, attract foreign investment, and secure crucial financial support from international institutions. The decision to float the Birr was a bold one. It signaled Ethiopia's commitment to economic reforms. The move aimed to address the limitations of the previous fixed exchange rate system. By allowing market forces to determine the Birr's value, the government hoped to create a more flexible and responsive economy. This move was not without risks. The floating of the Birr carried the potential for significant fluctuations in its value. This uncertainty could impact businesses and individuals alike. However, the government believed that the potential benefits outweighed the risks. The move represented a calculated gamble to revitalize Ethiopia's economy. As expected, the immediate aftermath of the float saw a sharp decline in the Birr's value against major international currencies. This devaluation had both positive and negative implications for the Ethiopian economy. On the one hand, it made Ethiopian exports more competitive in the global market. This price advantage could potentially boost export revenues and contribute to economic growth. On the other hand, the devaluation also led to an increase in the cost of imported goods. This rise in import prices could fuel inflationary pressures, affecting consumers and businesses that rely on imported raw materials. The government faced the challenge of mitigating these negative consequences while harnessing the potential benefits of a more competitive exchange rate. The devaluation's impact was felt most acutely by ordinary Ethiopians. The rising cost of essential commodities put a strain on household budgets. The government needed to implement measures to cushion the impact on vulnerable populations. These measures could include social safety nets and targeted subsidies. One of the primary motivations behind floating the Birr was to address Ethiopia's chronic foreign currency shortage. The previous fixed exchange rate system had created an environment where businesses struggled to access the foreign currency needed for essential imports. This shortage hampered economic activity and hindered growth. The government anticipated that the floating exchange rate would attract foreign investment and boost exports. Increased foreign currency inflows would help alleviate the shortage. This, in turn, would make it easier for businesses to import essential goods and raw materials. The floating of the Birr represented a crucial step towards creating a more sustainable and robust economy. By addressing the foreign currency crisis, the government aimed to create an environment conducive to investment, growth, and job creation. However, the success of this endeavor depended on a range of factors, including the government's ability to maintain macroeconomic stability. Section 4. International support, a vote of confidence. Ethiopia's decision to float the Birr and implement economic reforms garnered support from international institutions. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, responded positively by approving a $3.4 billion extended credit facility arrangement. This financial support package aimed to bolster Ethiopia's economic reforms and promote macroeconomic stability. The IMF's immediate disbursement of $1 billion provided much-needed liquidity to Ethiopia's foreign exchange reserves. This injection of funds would help alleviate pressure on the Birr and support the government's efforts to stabilize the economy. The World Bank also pledged significant financial assistance, signaling confidence in Ethiopia's reform agenda. The support from the IMF and the World Bank was conditional on Ethiopia's continued commitment to economic reforms. These reforms included measures to improve governance, strengthen institutions, and create a more business-friendly environment. The international community's backing provided a much-needed boost to Ethiopia's reform efforts. Section 5. Inflationary concerns, a balancing act. While the floating of the Birr offered potential benefits, it also raised concerns about inflation. The devaluation of the currency made imported goods more expensive, potentially leading to a rise in the general price level. The government faced the delicate task of managing inflationary pressures while pursuing its economic reform agenda. Addressing inflationary concerns required a multi-pronged approach. This included implementing prudent fiscal policies to manage government spending and control the money supply. Additionally, the government needed to address supply-side bottlenecks that contributed to rising prices. The government's ability to manage inflation would be crucial in determining the success of the economic reforms. Failure to control inflation could erode public support for the reforms and undermine the government's efforts to stabilize the economy.